table, yeah.
And I'm afraid I'm gonna knock all of this off.
Should we close that door?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Don't come in here. Even though it says please come in, do not come. Please
Do not come in.
I'll lock it.
Oh God. Rolling. Hi everyone. Welcome to the Beth and Deb show. I got it right this time. We are here at IU East's little art gallery with Carrie Longley, who is a faculty in our art department here. And we're in front, or behind, we're behind the work of a ceramics artist, Heather May Erickson, and her work is on display here. And what we're going to be talking about, this is our coping skills series because it's a stressful time of the semester. We're talking about what we can do. Everybody has different ways of coping with stress, right? Some of them are not so great, but we're here to talk about the ones that you can implement in a healthy way to help you manage your stress when things get a little overwhelming. And art and creative things are one of the things that we have found a lot of clients. I use creative activities to cope with stress. And so we thought maybe Carrie could talk a little bit about that to our viewers. How could art be helpful for dealing with stress?
Well, what I find, I teach throwing on the pottery wheel, and I find that the repetitive motion in the repetitive process that sometimes comes with art making can help almost create like a meditative state for some people. And especially throwing on the potter's wheel where the artist is watching the wheel move round and round, they're focusing on their breathing, on the energy that's coming from their core muscles, and the slow, methodical movements of their hands.
Yeah, because it has to be like really balanced and like even and consistent.
Right.
That's called throwing?
Yeah.
Yo, I learned something today.
So-
I always just thought it was like just pottery spinning.
Not spinning, it's called throwing.
It's called throwing.
Yes.
Okay, that's
And
fun.
like some of the wheel,
Because I was picturing like, I was like, there's a class where you just like throw clay on the ground?
there is a reason, the origin of that word that I should know, but I don't know right now.
Why they
I
call
love
it
Why
throwing.
they call it throwing, but yes, and the wheels that we use are powered with electricity, but some of those wheels are powered by kicking a big heavy stone or piece of concrete. So it's a real strong mind-body connection.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So throwing and kind of that,
Yeah,
the
using your
methodical
body.
way.
Yeah. So it can be like mindfulness. It really gets you in the moment and takes your mind to the present moment rather than like, oh, what's going
It's
on?
like hyper-focus.
Yeah.
Kind of put on like creative blinders,
Yeah.
and you're not focusing on time. You're focusing on how your mind and your hands are connecting to create something. I think that it's nice too with art making that there's kind of a beginning and an end. Sometimes, not always.
Yeah.
So where, you can get stressed by ongoing projects or never-ending deadlines. With art making, you start something and then you can complete it.
So it feels productive. And
Yeah,
you accomplish
absolutely.
something.
Productive is a good word. Yeah, you're creating something.
And I think what you said reminds me of that concept of flow in positive psychology.
Yeah,
when
definitely.
you really get engaged in an activity, time drops away and you just feel like you're at one with the universe or whatever.
Yeah.
And and creative activities are really good to get into that state, which is great for stress relief.
So if, say you're a person who, like, I don't own a pottery throwing machine.
Right. Wheel, yes.
A pottery wheel. I'm a psychologist. Okay, so do you have any like ideas that you give to students that they could practice at home and they don't need a wheel? What are things that they could do?
Well, I mean, there's a reason why adult coloring books are really popular.
Yeah.
It's very, you don't have to really be a creative thinker, but you can still practice that methodical, rhythmic movement of filling in shapes with color.
Yeah.
Pencil and paper is a really great place to start. It's very accessible. It's very cheap. Paints, you can sculpt with, right now there's a movement of sculpting with low materials or trash materials where artists are collecting pieces of plastic or spent lighters or
Just
milk
found
cartons. Yeah, just
material.
found objects.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think and also art isn't limited to just visual art or visual communication. I mean, gardening, cooking, all of those types of creative thinking that are more accessible, wonderful ways to cope with stress.
I love that. Websites that you go to a lot, recommendations for students that are great resources or fun or just
Yeah, just something, even if they just want to look at art and be
Yeah.
inspired and
or
just
videos.
videos.
Of watching. I actually kind of like watch other people.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, I just think it's so therapeutic even to watch YouTube
Yeah.
videos
Absolutely.
of
Yeah,
other swimmers.
there's a lot of videos on making pots on YouTube.
And there's like a satisfying video, right? Like that's what they call those things
Yes.
where you watch somebody do something that's very, like I've watched them on a wheel, like glaze things
Yeah,
and cut
yeah.
out things out of pottery, and it's like a little
I
hypnotic.
just like to
Yeah.
watch.
It's very relaxing.
Just watching
and
somebody
satisfying.
manipulate something with their hands.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
It
Absolutely.
gets that feel.
I still really love Pinterest. I think that's a great
Yeah.
resource. I collect a lot of images on Pinterest.
Mhm.
So even if I have a really good friend and mentor that I sometimes bellyache that I don't have enough time to create, she's like, well, creating isn't just sitting in your studio and manipulating material. Creating could be collecting images that are inspiring so that when you do create that time in that creative space, you have all of that information ready.
You have like a well of things you've been looking at.
Another great thing that I suggest for students if they want to get into art making is to set the stage. So similar to like how if you're practicing yoga, you would bring your mat, you might make sure that you've eaten before you get rest, or you set the stage with a quiet environment or special scents. It's the same with art making. So especially if I've had a hectic day, I don't want to go down to my creative space with all of that nervous energy.
Yeah.
So I might put on an essential oil or put on my favorite music, make sure that the lighting's right, make sure that I'm nourished, so that when I do have time to create, I can do it with mindfulness, and it can be an enjoyable experience that I can repeat over and over again.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's awesome.
That's great. So thank you so much, Carrie, for helping us learn a little bit more about how we can use art and creativity to help with our stress and coping. It's just one of the many ways that we'll talk about. So you may not feel like you're a particularly creative person or this isn't your avenue, but it is one thing you could try that's healthy. and
Try
good-
something new.
Good for you.
And try something new.
Yeah, trying something new, I think that's a fun way to
Yeah.
de-stress. Okay, thanks, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Carrie. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the Deb and
Beth show. Except it's the Beth and Deb.
Oh no!
You did that the
I
last
got a
time
little.
too. You're like, people are gonna be all
People
like
are gonna be so confused.
screwed up.
Okay.
I didn't correct
Take
you.
two.
How about the death show? That's fine.
Beth and Deb
Oh my god, I love it.
Welcome to the Death Show.